Okay, today we're going to be cobbing a piece of beef. It's beef on the bones rib, but it's a nice big joint. That is about 3 kilos. So anyway, what I've done is I've rinsed it off and I've dried it, and now I'm going to make a like a wet rub, not a wet rub, just a paste to put onto the beef. And that is going to be made up of garlic, 1 small onion, about a good teaspoon of mustard powder, and then a stock cube. Well, it's a stock pot, but that's fine. Some butter. That happens to be garlic butter, but you don't need garlic butter because obviously you've got plenty of garlic there. And some rosemary and some flour and some olive oil. That's all going to go into the blender. And then we're going to rub that all over the piece of beef, and we'll leave the beef out once it's got the rub on. We'll leave it out for another couple of hours so that it gets to room temperature before we cook it, and that's going to go into the cob. So I'm going to go ahead now and make this paste. Okay, so that's the beef with the mustard paste on it, mustard and onion paste. Now that's all left to do is put some seasoning on there, some salt and pepper. So I'm just going to grind some on there, and then I'm going to leave that for a few hours, and then we'll be lighting the cob. Yeah, so they're my coals. I don't know if you can see they're lit. They're glowing a bit there. So now I'm going to put this roast on. So as per usual, start with that. You get the roasting rack. That goes on, and then I'm going to use the extension, and then the beef goes on. Okay, and so I guess now all we need is the lid, and that's that. So I'm going to take that outside now, and that can just cook outside, and in the meantime I'm going to make a sauce, but I'll get to that now. Okay, so now for the sauce I'm going to make for this roast. It's garlic, onions, which I'm going to finely chop now. I'm going to finely chop the garlic as well. And it's about 4 or 5 rashers of diced smoked bacon. It's a good handful. Some butter, honey, port, and red wine. And that's going to make up the sauce. So I've put the bacon and the butter in, and melting the butter and letting the bacon just cook a little bit. Okay, that bacon's starting to get a bit of colour now, so now's the time you want to add your onions. So onions go in. You give that a stir. Okay, so you really want to just land up sweating these onions. You don't want to brown them. It doesn't matter if they get a bit of colour on them, but you don't want. You just want them nicely sweated. That's what you're after. Okay, the onions are going a bit translucent now, so I'm going to add the garlic. It's important that you don't add the garlic if you haven't added the onions, because the garlic can catch on the bottom of the pan. And believe it or not, they've got a lot of sugar in them, and that sugar would caramelise, they'll burn, and that will give you a bitter taste. So try and have something in the pan before you add your garlic, and the garlic will just cook nicely off. Now we'll let that go for another 5-10 minutes, and then we're going to add some honey. Okay, I'm now that's all like softened up a bit now, so now I'm going to add about maybe a tablespoon and maybe a bit more of honey. Okay, I'm using a ruby port. It's just a cheapie from Tesco, but a ruby port obviously works very well with this. So I'm going to put maybe that's probably a good glass and a half in there. Probably do some more just now, but the idea is to now let that port reduce quite a bit, and then we'll In fact, I'm going to add a bit more port. Okay, so that's about half a bottle of port now. So we'll just let that reduce, and then we'll come back to that and we'll add, I'm going to turn that down to simmer, and then I'm going to add the red wine. Okay, this is now, the port's reduced to more than, I'd say, about half. So now it's time for the red wine. So I'm going to add maybe half a bottle. About half a bottle. At this stage, I'm going to add some stock. That was a little stock pot. That was just beef stock, so that's gone in there now. We'll be adding water to this later once this is reduced. I really want all the flavors from the onion, the garlic and the bacon to come out, so once this is reduced I'll add some water and let it reduce again, and that way hopefully all the flavors from all of those things will have been released. Yeah, so that's reduced right down again, so now I'm just going to add water to it. I'm probably going to add like another pint and a half of water, and that will just help it to cook along. It'll probably be ready in about half an hour or something, 45 minutes. But I'll add another whole pint of water to that. That should be okay. At this stage we should just at least try it, see if it's halfway there. Yeah, it is probably a turn of salt and pepper, and that will be nice. Okay, this has been cooking for now over a good hour, so at this stage what I'm going to do is put it through the sieve. It needs to reduce further, but I'll first put it through the sieve. Okay, this will also wash off some of the lovely flavours left on the bacon and the onion and all of that. Okay. And that. Is now our red wine sauce. Doesn't look that fantastic right now, but we'll reduce that down by at least half, and that will just be nice and rich and perfect for red meat. So that's the kind of, I don't know if you can see that, but that's the kind of like consistency it is. You don't want a thick gravy with this. It's got to be like light. It's quite a rich. There's lot, it's very rich in that. So you don't want it thick and heavy. You don't add any flour or anything like that. You just leave it like that, and that's now done. The beef has been on for about an hour, so we're just going to take a little look. Looks like it's coming on nicely. Okay, this is about an hour and a half into the cook now. I'm going to turn in. Oh, this is a really big piece of meat. Quite hard to turn it on its side. Oh, that looks great. Not very bright out there, but there we go. Okay, so that's my roast beef. It's just come off. It looks absolutely stunning. It's at about 160 internal temperature. I'm going to just foil this up now and let it rest. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll be able to carve it later, but this is for friends for New Year's, so that's only in an hour or two's time. But if I foil it and just keep it, it will be fine. We can heat it up later.